Welcome to week 5 of Time for Change. This week, we're talking about exercise and moving your body with intention. So let's start with our verse. Today's verse says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." That comes from 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. We always start our class the same way, by sharing our wins, some of our struggles, maybe asking some questions we've thought of throughout the week. So since you're not at class with us today, maybe just send me an email with some of that. I'd love to hear how things went this week. Before we get into it, I just want to debunk some myths. But let's keep it a secret because I'm a fitness instructor, so I really shouldn't be telling you this. Number 1, you don't need to exercise to lose weight. Number 2, doing crunches is not going to get rid of belly fat. And number 3, you don't need to buy a gym membership to be physically fit. I got that off my chest. Let's keep it between us. Okay, now that you know that, let's talk about some truths. Regular exercise will improve your mental health, your heart health, and your lung health. It will increase your stamina, strength, and flexibility. It will improve your immune system's ability to ward off illnesses. It will improve your sleep quality. It will improve your brain function, both immediate and long-term. Regular exercise will reduce anxiety and improve your mood. It will increase your metabolism during a workout and then long-term as you develop muscle. It will increase your bone density and reduce the wasting away of muscle that happens with age, called sarcopenia, especially weight-bearing exercise for those two. And regular exercise can reduce symptoms of arthritis by strengthening the muscles that surround the joints. And on top of all this, regular exercise is fun if you find what you love, and it can be a great opportunity for socializing with people and connecting as a community. So you might be rolling your eyes saying, exercise is not fun, it's sweaty, it's hard, and I feel sore the next day. But when you find what you love, exercise really does become fun, and it becomes such a part of who you are that you can't imagine life without regular fitness in your life. There's 3 kinds of exercise, and we do need to try and get a nice balance of all 3 in our week. The first is weight-bearing or resistance exercise, and especially as we age, this becomes extremely important. So this would be anything that uses your body weight as resistance, or dumbbells, or a resistance band, which we've been doing all of our workouts with so far. The second type of exercise is aerobic exercise. So this is anything that gets your heart rate up and increases your breathing rate. So that could be anything from brisk walking or jogging to dancing, swimming, cycling, or really anything that gets your heart rate up and increases your breathing. So that's aerobic exercise. And typically you want to shoot for 20 to 30 minutes of consecutive aerobic exercise as best you can. And the third type of exercise is exercise for mobility or flexibility. So this would be anything like a stretching class or a yoga class, or if you're like my husband, you just do some stretching in the morning by the fireplace so that you're not creaking throughout the day. There's a new term out there, or at least relatively new term, that you're hearing people say, and it's exercise snacking. So basically this just means that you're gonna break up your daily workout into bursts of physical activity throughout the day. So if you cannot schedule in a full 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or an hour for a full workout, you're gonna break it up. So they call it exercise snacking, maybe 5 minutes for every half an hour you're sitting at the computer, that kind of thing. It's important to remember that some exercise is always better than no exercise. So hopefully you can develop the mentality of choosing movement rather than non-movement in your life. So I know you've heard this before, but taking the stairs rather than the escalator or elevator, parking further away, choosing to do manual labor when it could be done for you. For example, washing your car by hand instead of driving through. Even kneading bread for 8 minutes is a workout compared to just buying bread at the store. So choosing movement over non-movement as often as possible. So in class, we're going to take a moment to brainstorm ways that we can include exercise snacking in our lives. So if you want to take a moment, pause the video and maybe jot down some ideas. Where can I sneak in exercise snacking? So if we are trying to include more regular exercise in our lives for all the reasons that we mentioned at the beginning of class, we need to look back to week 1, the principles of developing a new habit, how we need to make it obvious. So how could you make physical fitness in your life more obvious? We talked about this in week 1. You could bring your workout outfit, have it in a chair beside your bed, so it's the first thing that you think of when you get dressed in the morning. Maybe you schedule it into your calendar. Sometimes I find I need to do this. It needs to be on my to-do list, or I just find a million other things that take priority over doing the exercise. Make it attractive. And what makes exercise attractive to you will be individual to you. So it might be finding something that's fun, right? That's attractive. So if you're taking a salsa dance class, if you're playing tennis with your neighbor, whatever is fun for you, make it attractive. It could also mean getting a really cute workout outfit that you love. Or some good shoes, whatever the case may be. Maybe you find a really bougie gym that you love. That makes it attractive. Make it easy. This is where a lot of people get hung up. They feel like a workout needs to be hard, but it really doesn't. It's just moving your body. Make it easy. So if you give yourself an overwhelming obligation, I need to get to the gym so many times a week for so long, you just don't do it and you end up feeling discouraged. And maybe you've bought a gym membership that you're paying for monthly but not using. So what if we make it easy? What if we say to ourselves, I'm gonna do a 15-minute walk after dinner each night before I do the dishes. And that is worth celebrating because you're doing it consistently. It's something you can bring into your life that brings joy. Remember, small habits done regularly are what make the biggest changes in the long run. For me, I've realized my biggest hang up to doing some stretching exercise, which is what often is missing in my life, was putting on tight pants. All I needed to do was just find some loose sweats and suddenly it became easier and more attractive for me. So figure out what the obstacle is and make it easier. And lastly, to develop a new habit, we need to make it satisfying. What does that look like for you? For me, that looks like a check on my to-do list. That just is so satisfying for me. I've done something I set out to do today. But for you, it could be a jar that's empty and another jar with marbles. And every time you do a workout, you take a marble from the full jar and you put it in the empty jar. And when you've got them all moved over, there is some kind of reward in it for you. Something that doesn't involve food. Maybe it's a massage, or maybe it's a little shopping trip. Maybe it's a movie with your girlfriends, whatever the reward is. So remember, you do not need to get a gym membership to get exercise, unless you want to. You can do a YouTube video, like the senior shape videos that I love and have recommended, or one of the ones that I'm posting, but don't feel like you have to. There's also yoga, there's step, there's all sorts of things you can just find right there on YouTube. So many of us think that exercise is suffering, and you're not going to experience results unless you're in pain the next day and it hurts to do it. And that's just not the case. We think that we need to beat our bodies into submission. No pain, no gain, right? But for most of us, unless you're in athletic training, this isn't necessary. It's just about moving. It's about challenging your body so your muscles can become stronger. And it should be an act of self-love, not punishment for our bodies. Choosing to do an activity that brings you joy and improves your health should be enjoyable. So remember, when you set your action this week, to think about setting an action that you can do 90% of the time, something that you will be successful at. So take a moment to set your action for the week, and although we're not meeting together next week, really consider doing it this week. I want it to become a part of your life. It is one of the most joyful parts of my day, getting in my workout, and I can tell you it feels so good after. The endorphins that come during a workout truly do exist, and you'll experience it once you start bringing this into your life every day. So I'll give you some suggestions for what your action could be this week. You could choose to do a 10-minute walk after dinner. If it's safe, if it's icy, maybe that's not for you. Or you could wake up 20 minutes early and do a short YouTube video. Whatever it is, set your action. Okay, before we wrap up our 5-week class, I want to talk about some troubleshooting. I'm setting you out there without guidance, without help to continue this, and I want you to know there's going to be things that creep up that are hard. And let's talk about some of what you may experience now. So one thing that I've noticed over the years with intermittent fasting is that window creep can kind of happen sometimes. So you may break your fast early in the morning because friends want to have brunch, and that's fine sometimes. But if it starts happening regularly, you have to have a look at that. Or if in the evening your coffee with cream and dessert just gets later and later, it's okay sometimes. But if it starts happening regularly, you have to ask yourself, is window creep happening? Is my mindset changing and I'm less committed to intermittent fasting? And if that's the case, and you notice this happening, there's a few things that I find work, and I'll tell you what they are. One thing is to go back to just jotting down my fast. Either you could do it using the free app, or for me, I like to just write it in a notebook, or add it even just to my daily to-do list. Intermittent fasting, 16, 18 hours, whatever my goal is, and just put it there. And when it's on my to-do list and it's my goal, that makes me more mindful of it. Another thing is to connect with those people that you've gotten to know over the last few weeks that are joining you in intermittent fasting and also finding value in it. Connect with them. Remind them that you're out there and that you need support. So another thing that you might experience in troubleshooting during this journey, as you make your way towards your goal and you start to see weight come off, ideally you'll see that weight come off at a rate of about 1/2 pound a week to 1 pound a week. And if you'll remember back to week 1, we talked about how it's ideal to weigh yourself every day and take an average at the end of the week. So maybe you get in the habit of just doing the math on a Sunday, or maybe you use an app that takes the average for you, and there are apps out there. Happy Scale is, I think, one of them. Anyways, if you start to see that the trend is no longer going down for weight, either maybe it's going up or it's just plateauing, and likely that's what you'll see, a little bit of a plateau. So a few things that you may notice. Your body likes to go into a state of homeostasis. So if you're doing the exact same fast every day, and maybe you're even breaking your fast the same way, we're people of habit, we're people of routine, and that's normal and that's okay. But sometimes your body gets too comfortable with it and it will find a nice new happy weight and it will stay there. Even if you know that dropping a few extra pounds is healthy for you or is something that you'd really like. So some things that you can do in this case are to, number one, you can tweak your fast. If you do a little bit more research, sometimes people will go into what they call alternate daily fasting. And what it means is that one day you're gonna do 3 square meals, and the next day you're actually not going to eat. Or you're gonna have one meal that's very low in calories, 500 calories. So I don't really recommend this, and for the purposes of this class, I wouldn't even bring it up except to say that if you hit a weight plateau, this can be a tool for you for a time to help get your weight shifting back into the downward motion that you want to see. So alternate daily fasting would be something you'd want to research and find out if that works for you and exactly how you want to do that. Or you could just tweak your fast by adding an extra hour. So maybe for a short while you're doing a 19-hour fast rather than your 18 or 20-hour fast. And that would just be for a time. You'd work it into your life. Maybe you even just do it 2 days a week, but just tweaking that schedule so that your body's kind of shifting out of homeostasis and can start dropping weight again. This is only if you're in a situation where weight loss is still healthy for you. You're not going to do it if you are in a healthy weight. Another thing that you could do if you hit that plateau and you're starting to feel frustrated is to just take a quick peek at what you are consuming. If you're choosing mostly whole foods, that's great. But sometimes whole foods can include a lot of high-fat foods as well. Can include a lot of high-fat dairy, cheese, butter, sour cream, that kind of thing. And for a time, and I'm not saying that you should diet, but for a time, it might make sense to cut some of those things out just to get you through that plateau. And absolutely take a look at your sugar intake as well. We've talked about how sugar can always be reduced and it's good for inflammatory reasons, but if you are just trying to get over that hump of dropping that extra few pounds, take a look at your sugar intake, cut it for a time. So hopefully those are helpful tips for some of the troubleshooting, and anything else that creeps up, I'm just an email away. I'm always here to help. So over the last 5 weeks, we've talked about some really important things, and it can be easy to forget. I really hope that your diet brain does not come back. You put that on the shelf and you don't pick that up again, okay? We're gonna do things differently. We're gonna make small habit changes done consistently so that we can see long-term change, so that those habit changes become who we are and what we do. Now, hopefully you are married to and committed to intermittent fasting for a lifetime. And I'm telling you, the longer you do it, the less you want to give it up. I've been intermittent fasting now for over 3 years, and there is just no way that I want to go back to eating all day long. I feel so much better and it's so much easier. So the longer you do it, the easier it is to commit to doing it for a lifetime. Small changes, intermittent fasting, mindful eating. This is your tool for slowing down, taking notice of what goes into your mouth, and allowing each meal to be a proper event. You're sitting down to meals, you're plating your food, you're not gobbling up junk in the car. We are now aware of labels and what is in food. We're mindful that we are constantly being fed advertisements telling us to go eat. And typically it's to eat things that have been refined and processed and are not good for us. They're disease promoting, they're not health promoting. You are now aware and becoming educated of what's in your food. Small habits, intermittent fasting, slow down and eat mindfully, and be aware of what's in your food. And finally, today we talked about moving your body more and bringing in some physical fitness that brings you joy. With those 5 changes, you're gonna see a lifetime of freedom, and it's not gonna happen tomorrow. This is not the 20 days to 20-pound loss workout or plan. This is forever. This is your lifestyle now, and it's good. So these tools are empowering to take you towards your journey, but remember, God wants to be included in this journey too. So when the struggle feels like it's beyond you, lift your eyes to the one who created you. The Holy Spirit that lives within you will take you further than you could ever go on your own. You have access to a depth of power that we don't even understand. This battle belongs to the Lord. And you are already succeeding. I've seen it. So these tools are the ticket to making some peace with your body and your relationship with food. I hope that you'll find freedom through it. Remember to connect with those people that you've met here in this class and remember to connect with me. I want to hear how things are going. Thank you for bringing me into this journey. And hopefully you'll pop in and see me in these workouts here and there.